Hi, my name is Sandy. Welcome to Cookies, Kakery Cake School. Today, I'm going to show you how to crumb coat your cake and the 3 biggest tips for crumb coating your cake. So let's get started. And don't forget, if you like this video, please hit the like button and subscribe for more fantastic cake tutorials. Today, I want to show you how to perfectly crumb coat your cake. Now, you might be a beginner who has just started their cake decorating journey, and it's really, really important to get a really solid base for your cakes. So what is a crumb coat? So a crumb coat is exactly that. It's just encasing in all your crumbs. So when it comes to applying the second layer, which is a nice smooth layer, you're not going to see all those awful crumbs in your cake. These are my 3 biggest tips when it comes to crumb coating. So the first tip is make sure that your cakes are chilled. So you can either pop them in the fridge for about an hour before or pop them in the freezer, and you just want to make sure that they are nice and cold. So my cakes are lovely and chilled, and it's just going to stop them from kind of moving around so much and loads more crumbs falling off. Tip number 2, make sure that your buttercream is lovely and soft. Now, what happens when you try and put hard butter or cold butter on your toast? It's just going to be impossible to actually get the butter on the toast, and it's the same concept for buttercream. You want to make sure that it's a lovely spreadable consistency, it's nice and soft, so this is just going to make the crumb coat so much easier. And tip number 3, make sure you have all the correct tools and equipment. So I've got my turntable here, and I have got this straight palette knife, which is just going to allow me to crumb coat with ease. So let's get started. First thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to apply a little bit of buttercream onto the board to act as a glue. And I'm going to place down my first chilled layer. And this is a red velvet layer. So I'm going for different layers for each of my cakes. And I'm going to start to fill this. Also, I have got some of the buttercream in a separate bowl, so we just want enough for the filling and for the crumb coat, and then you should have some separate in another bowl for your final layer. Otherwise, you will just end up with crumbs in your final layer, which is what we definitely don't want. So I'm just going to place this onto this layer. Don't worry about if the buttercream goes outside of the cake, because this is just going to add towards the crumb coat, which we're going to use. The second layer I'm going to go in is with my chocolate layer. Make sure it's in line. And we're just going to repeat this step. And then I'm going to go in with my vanilla sponge. And last of all, I'm going to go in with my red velvet, and we're just going to place this on the top. Now just turn your turntable and do make sure that everything is in line. So now we're going to start the crumb coat. So I've got my nice soft buttercream, and as you can see, there's already some buttercream which has gone over the edges. So I'm just going to start to bring this around and use this as the crumb coat. Now you are going to see some crumbs here, but don't worry, that's why we call it the crumb coat. And this has got to be a nice thin layer of buttercream, and it doesn't need to be too thick. And we are almost complete. And you want to be putting gentle pressure, and you don't want to put too much pressure with your palette knife, because this could end up moving your cake layers, which is definitely what we don't want. But this should occur a lot less if you have chilled your cakes. So the buttercream has now gone on, and I'm going to grab my smoother, and I'm just going to give it one full turn to neaten this up. And holding your scraper at a 45-degree angle, I'm going to give it a full turn. And I'm just going to neaten up the top. And there you have a perfectly crumb-coated cake. Now I'm going to pop this into the fridge for about half an hour and then before I can go on to the next layer. And don't forget, if you like this video, please hit the like button and subscribe for more fantastic cake tutorials.